Are all fire the same pure fire? Is everything really made up of four elements? Thinkers in Europe were not satisfied with air, water, fire, and earth. One of those thinkers in 17th century was Robert Boyle. Atomists of ancient times had given the idea of particles. Boyle came up with the idea of units of matter. He named corpuscles. Boyle did a very simple experiment. He burnt wood and found that smoke was not air. Fluid that oozed out of burning was not water. Flame was not pure fire, since different materials when burned gave different color of fire. There was not anything like a pure fire. The ash that is left after burning is not same as earth. He showed that matter as simple as wood could not be explained by air, water, fire, and earth. So the long-standing idea coming from Greek was finally shattered by Robert Boyle. In science, nothing is fixed. Miracles of nature never end as we think deeper. Robert Boyle and Robert Hooke did a number of experiments on the properties of air, discovering several of its physical characteristics. Air has a role in combustion, respiration, transmission of sound. Relation between volume and temperature of gas was determined by Boyle and Hooke, which is the famous Boyle's law in science textbooks. This paved the way for steam engine. When we ask children why air does not fall, often they cannot explain. This is the Boyle's law. At 0 degree Kelvin, air does fall down and attains zero volume in frozen state. At standard temperature, air is actually in the boiled state. Kinetic energy of its particles does not let it fall against gravity. Do you know who first suggested that matter expands when heated? Robert Hooke. We only know him for Hooke's law on elasticity, but he was a person of diverse interests. He was a true savant. The term savant means one who knows. Do you know that term savant was used for what we now call scientists? He used microscope and studied plants and insects. His illustration is published in the book Micrographia, which caused a sensation. Hooke gave power and beauty to things which otherwise we tend to ignore as disgusting and trivial, like ants or fleas. Do you know where did the term cell came from in biology? Robert Hooke observed cork made of the dead tree bark under the microscope. He saw empty boxes in the cork and named them cells. The concept of cell now we use is different, but the name that Hooke used stuck. How come we found that sound has frequency? Robert Hooke was the first to produce a sound wave of known frequency, using a rotating cog wheel as a measuring device. Robert Hooke also measured speed of sound. What made it possible to design mechanical clocks using springs' potential energy? Earlier in Muslim era, very sophisticated mechanical clocks were made which used gravitational potential energy like water. Two things, both made by Robert Hooke, made it possible to design accurate mechanical clocks: springs and anchor escapement mechanism. Hooke made experimental observation of the phenomena of diffraction, the bending of light rays around corners. He offered the wave theory of light and suggested that light vibrations could be perpendicular to the direction of propagation. Do you know who first made an attempt on blood transfusion? It was Robert Hooke. He transfused blood from a lamb into a human being. It did not work. Bye for now, see you next time.